there's something about this little corner behind the shed that I like.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. And it's a little bit farther away from our screaming goats. Not that I hate that. I'm just saying it's funny, but I think
kind of hide back here a little bit too.
yeah. Well, a lot of this is going to get cleared out, but we can plant stuff at the front to like give a little more privacy.
And then that just puts us in a back corner as far as we can go without going crazy money-wise.
And then we just work out from there.
Yeah, it's kind of not our choice.
I know. When we got the property, the driveway and the sheds were already put in place by the previous owner, so we're really just trying to work around that positioning without having to rearrange too much. Try to go to your right because it's not going straight. Yeah. There you go. Alright, so that's 100. Okay. You want to mark that? Okay, do you want to keep going? Okay. We've been using this 100-foot tape measure to figure out where things are going to go and how much space we have in between things to come up with a plan. So we got from that corner of the shed back to where the brush starts is 130 feet. So now we're going to measure that way because I think this might be where we want to put the RV pad just because it's nice. We'll have the sun in the evening and it's just kind of far back from the road, so it feels a little quieter. You're not going to get like dust when people are driving by because I think in the summer that road is probably pretty dusty. There is a nice oak tree back here though. I'm thinking maybe we'll mark that one to save because it looks pretty healthy. Made it through the storm, so it's got to be pretty strong. We got some measuring done. Kind of talked about some different ideas and options and places to put things, which is trickier than I thought to figure out like which trees we want to keep, which trees are gonna get taken down. But we got some measurements, so I think we're gonna go back and think it over, try to figure out, and then we'll come back again tomorrow and look and see, once I draw out the measurements of how much space we have in between things and how big the RV pad is going to be, then we can kind of figure out what's going to work the best. But we do have to kind of figure it out quickly because we only have 2 more days. But the bugs are coming out now, so I'll head back. I don't think I walked through a tick nest this time. We're a little bit more prepared, so that's good. Learning. It was a good first day of getting to know our property and coming up with a little bit more of a clear plan. Then we headed back to our Airbnb, enjoyed a beautiful Florida sunset, and got ready for another day of work. When we went to Tractor Supply yesterday, we got some Picardin that we can use to treat our clothes, because after doing our first walk around the property, I had probably close to 200 ticks on me. This is a very necessary and needed thing before we go back on our property. We had to spray our clothes and let them dry for about 2 hours while we got ready. And I'm so glad that we were at an Airbnb. Originally, we thought maybe we'll go down and camp. And I'm so glad that we had access to a shower and I was able to change and do laundry yesterday. That made a huge difference. So we got ready to head over to our property. And it's also a reminder that this land that we got is still pretty raw. But at least today we were able to pick up the keys from the realtor, and this was the first time we were able to open the gate ourselves. Yesterday we had to hop the fence to get in. So this is progress. We actually have the keys to our own gate and to one of our sheds. Can't go very far. But at least we're on. And now we got the key to the shed, or at least one of them. It'll be nice when our driveway is open again. We have the key to get into the white shed, but not the red one. It's a pretty good shed.
Yeah. That's metal frame.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, they did a good job with the install.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize before that it's anchored. Like all the corners, they anchored it down. This thing made it through a Category 3 hurricane. It's pretty impressive. Oh, look, we can get a light bulb. Oh, well, we don't have electric. Oh, that'll take a few months. But, yeah. So here, they put these ground anchors in, and it's the same thing on the tent and the red shed, and I'm actually so surprised that we don't have really any damage to the structures. We never got to see the inside of the red shed because the realtor didn't have the key either, so we figured out that we had to try to break in.
I'll just get another one.
We could have taken the lock out, but since we didn't have any tools, we decided that having me try to climb in the window and open the door from the inside might be our best bet. There was a fan that was hard mounted into the window, and unfortunately we had to break that because I couldn't fit around it. Luckily there were some cinder blocks on the other side of the shed, so I was able to use them to build a little step so I could climb through the window.
Okay. For decent criminals. Nice door.
We were pretty curious to see what was inside the shed. We know the previous owner had plans to put in a shallow well or some kind of a pump system, but I don't think they got very far in that process. All right, we had to break the fan that was on the window, unfortunately, but it was either that or drill the lock out. Which we're gonna have to replace that lock anyway because we don't have a key for it, but...
Got some pool noodles.
Yeah, I wonder what they were for. All that insulation.
Yeah.
That is a lot of insulation.
Pipe.
So...
This isn't hooked up to anything.
It's not hooked up?
No.
Okay. That's a whole thing, though.
Yeah.
What, it's like a pump if they were going to do a shallow well?
I suppose so.
I wonder if we could use that for something if we have to actually pump the water from like one side of the property to the other.
I never messed with any of this or looked at it before, so plug it in.
Is there anything in here?
No.
Yeah.
It's just like weird things. Buckets.
Some buckets.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least we can get into our structures now.
Yeah.
I think that's what they call a palmetto bug. That thing is huge. Gosh. Alright, let's put you out there. I started going through and marking the trees with some marker tape. So if it's a tree that we think is going to come out, like this one's got a good strong lean to it, and it would be going toward where we want to put the RV site, so probably good to take that one out. But then if it's trees that we want to keep, I'm putting the green around it. If we can, you know, those are the ones that are a little straighter, a little bit nicer. And they'll give a bit of shade because I don't want to take out so many trees that it's going to be like blazing hot in the summer. But you got to strike that balance of having enough sun that we can grow stuff or, you know, maybe have solar or something like that. So this is kind of the area. But the marker tape is really helpful because it's hard to get a visual of how big an area is or like, you know, mark off certain parts. So I can look at the trees by color and just sort of see like, okay, this is the area. And then we're just going to start measuring out where we would put the RV pad, which has to be 1,200 square feet. So we'll see where that's going to fit and kind of where we like the view. And then the utilities are really going to be up to them because I don't know the first thing about figuring out where to put the septic or where to put the well. Really, it's just wherever it works for us. We'll work around that. Wherever we can get them in, that's the idea. So, but I think it's helping us to get a little bit more of a solid plan. I started out with 2 rolls of red marker tape to put on the trees that we thought were going to have to come out, and 1 roll of green for the trees that we wanted to try to save. And I was surprised that we pretty quickly started to run out of the red tape. I was hoping to try to keep more trees because it was one of the things we really loved about this property when we first saw it was how pretty the trees were. But the more that we're learning about the process of developing the land and putting in a septic and having a garden, the more we're starting to realize that at least for a portion of our property, we're going to have to take out quite a few trees. We were also starting to figure out that there was a bit more damage to some of the standing trees from the hurricane than we had realized. And while we're at it, we're going to have to get those taken out as well. So there's going to be a lot of changes in the next few weeks or months, probably months, to what the property looks like. But hopefully we can save this big, beautiful tree, because I could not even reach around it myself. I had to have Pat help me to put the green marker tape on this one. So I hope we get to keep it.
Yeah.
So there's a few trees that we were looking at that originally I had this one as a green tag, and then I walked around the other side and you can see it split. There's like a lot of cracks, and I think you can see that tree went down this way. I think the wind was really hard in that direction because most of our trees fell this way, and now we're starting to see that the trees that are still standing have these like really deep cracks in them. Like this one probably almost went down, so we'll take that one out because it's already compromised. It's probably going to start rotting in the middle. We went through and put some garden posts in the four corners there of where we kind of think the RV pad might go, but it's all contingent on what happens with the septic and the perk test. But this is kind of hypothetically where we think the pad is going to go, and then we got most of the trees kind of tagged in this area. I really like this tree right here. I'm kind of hoping that maybe we can keep it. Look, it's so healthy and green, but I don't know, it's kind of in the middle of the area we're trying to clear, so that might be hard. But I think we got a much better idea of what we're doing today. And we got one more day to sort things out. We were both pretty exhausted by this point, and neither of us really felt like we had the energy to cook. So we decided to go into town and do a little bit of research. Last time we were in Madison, we saw this pizza place and it was pretty busy. And we thought, well, that might be our future pizza place, so we better check it out and make sure the pizza's pretty good. We were very excited about this because we were super hungry, but also we haven't had pizza in, I can't remember how long. We normally eat really healthy, so this was our treat night. It's amazing how excited we were about this pizza, and I'm happy to report that it was very good. We will be back here at some point in the future. On our way back toward the Airbnb, we decided to take a walk around the lake, and it was a perfect, beautiful evening. I'm so impressed by the sunsets here. Every night the sky was all different colors and the moon was starting to come out. Just such a treat. Thanks for coming along with us as we go through this process of developing our tiny house or our RV site on our northern Florida property. There will be many more projects and days of work ahead of us, so make sure that you are subscribed so that you can come along with us. Thank you so much to our Patreon supporters for making the production of these videos possible.
Watch here your career. It's time for you to face those fears, and it's all fair to be aware, and I'll be there. So don't be scared. Just take a deep breath of air. And 1, 2, 3 to 10, you begin to focus again. And though time flies, we'll have enough to realize this bigger than the both of us.